Hi, my name is Rachel. I'm from Lollipop Cake Supplies, and today I'm going to show you how to use our Bake at Home kit to make a rainbow cake. Alrighty, so the first thing I'm going to do, I've already cut my cakes, so I'm just going to stack them. You probably don't need to have your icing coloured at this point, but you're welcome to as well. If you are baking your cakes from scratch or from a mix, you can also then colour the batter before you bake and make the inside of your cake a rainbow as well. But today I am using the Bake Me Up cakes, so I shan't be doing that. Okay, so now I have stacked my cake. I'm gonna do my crumb coat. So your crumb coat is essentially the very thin layer of icing that you pop on your cake just to kind of seal in all those little crumbs so you don't end up pulling them through your final layer of icing. Just using my scraper to go around the outside and get off any of that extra icing. Gonna make my edges a little bit sharper. Now my cake is prepped and ready to go. Alrighty, so what I'm now going to do is colour my rainbow layers. So the 3 colours you get in your kit should be able to get you all of the colours of the rainbow, pun intended. So I'm going to start with pink because I'm doing a pastel rainbow. So pink at the start, then I have the yellow and the pink to make an orange, then yellow, then blue and yellow to make green, blue on its own, and then the pink and the blue to make a purple. I probably should have also mentioned sometimes the easiest way to get your icing into your piping bag is if you use a cup and then put the icing bag around into the cup and then fold it out of the lip, and that way you've got like a bit of an edge as well to scrape off your scraper too. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to cut off the end of the piping bag and I'm going to use that to pipe my colours in stripes around the cake. Don't worry about getting this absolutely perfect. We're actually going to be doing an ombre technique today. So we're gonna, before we scrape this down, we're gonna go over it with a scraper and cover in any of these holes that are popping up. Alrighty. Now, because purple is my last colour, I'm going to use that on the top. It doesn't need to be perfect because we are going to be covering this part with sprinkles anyway. But I'm just smoothing that down, letting any of the excess go over the edge because those corners need to be covered as well. And then I'm just going to start smoothing down the icing down the sides. You kind of want to be grabbing and dragging the colour beneath it as well, because that'll help give us that ombre technique as it comes up the cake. What we're going to do now is grab your scraper or your knife or your buttercream smoothing utensil, and we're just going to rest it on the board up against the cake. Try not to lean it either side, otherwise you're going to end up with a wonky cake. So get it as straight as you can and just slowly scrape around your cake, making sure you clean it off each time. Otherwise you're just going to be dragging that excess buttercream around. Once you've done that a few times, you have a pretty good idea of where your holes are. So I'm just going to grab my piping bag and fill in a little bit of icing on each of the colours that seem to have some gaps. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I definitely prefer to be a bit more of a perfectionist. So I'm going to take my time and I'm going to do this. Alrighty, I've gotten my sides to where I want them. So now what you're going to do, we're doing a chocolate drip. So we want our edges to be nice and sharp. So the easiest way to do that is, there's two ways. You can either pop it in the fridge, let your buttercream get super firm, and then go around the edge with a knife. Otherwise, the way that I like to do it is also to, while your buttercream is still soft, get down at eye level and use your scraper to just pull your edges in. I think the knife method is a little bit cleaner, but because I'm doing the chocolate drip, like, any imperfections are going to be covered anyway, so it's not a huge deal. So I've got my chocolate drip all warmed up. I do just need to say though, make sure it's not too hot when you're popping it on the cake. Otherwise you will melt your buttercream. So maybe heat it up a little bit ahead of time. You can even pop your cake in the fridge just to cool down a little bit in the meantime as well. And just get it to a little bit warmer than room temperature, if not room temperature. Just make sure it doesn't start solidifying again. And what I'm gonna do now is very gently go around the edges, do a drip, drip, drip. You really don't have to be too generous with this. They, depending on the warmth of your chocolate, it will drip very nicely down the sides, even just with the tiniest amount. And you can add little bits here and there wherever you feel like it needs it. And then I'm just gonna add a little bit around here. I'm gonna grab my sprinkles now and I'm just going to give it a good whoopsie daisy splattering of confetti through the middle. If you are going for more of that pastel look, you can pull the little red sequins out, but I don't mind them, so I'm gonna leave them in. We're gonna create our little rainbow piping bag for the top rope, and I'm going to use all of my leftover icing. So we just pipe in a nice line as much as you've got left. So we're just going to roll this up all together. Twist our top and our bottom. Oopsie daisy. Prep our piping bag with the tip. And pop her into our piping bag. All right, I'm just going to grab my bag and do some little rainbow rope circles, whoopsie daisy, around the border of my cake. And there you have it. Going to do not a whole lot.